this is my CiaoBella journal, and it has craft pages. So normally we think about working on a white background to make our art journals pop, but we can easily add paint in different parts on the pages and then layer the rice papers on top. I thought I'd just share the rice papers I've picked out, and these are ones from CiaoBella, and they're from their Je t'aime selection. So I've chosen a background one that's got different words in it, and I've chosen a focal image. I like this one because I like that image there, but then there's other bits I can pull out from the rice paper. And then finally, I've chosen the cards one. Now, the cards ones are fantastic because, yes, you can stick them in your journals, but you can stick rice paper to card and create ephemera pieces for them, whether in your art journal or for your card making. So I'm going to put down some white places in the journal first with my paint, and then we can start look at layering up the imagery. Okay, I'm going to put that to one side and let it dry, but that's my initial starting point for where I think I'm going to put some of the images, and then I can build out or add layers on. I don't want to make it too fussy. I want the imagery to be the focal point. So I'll put that to one side and we'll bring the rice papers in. Okay, I'm going to take this rice paper sheet first, and I'm going to pull out different sections of it that I think would work for the page I want to create. Now, you see us use a paintbrush or a water brush, and we will, add water around that image. And that means when we pull it out, we get a lovely feathery finish, which helps blend it a little bit more into our background. For me personally, I prefer if I turn the rice paper over, and then I will follow the outline I can see of the image with the water, exactly as I would do before. But it means I'm not competing with any ink. I'm just soaking straight away into the background paper. I suppose it's a quicker way of doing it. So I'm just going to quickly grab a paintbrush and we'll make a start. And that now gives me my first image that I want to work with, and I'm going to put that to one side, look at the sheet and see what other parts I would like to add into my page. Anything I don't use I do keep for other projects. So let's make a start and do that. I've got the imagery there that I want to use. I'm just going to put a bit of water down this bit here, and that's just the edge of the sheet. So now I've got those two images, put them to one side, and we'll just keep building up a few other images. Right, I've made a start pulling out some of the imagery I want to use from the rice papers. As I said, all the bits I've got left over I will keep and use for other projects or even add to this one. So I'll put those to one side, and I'm just going to go and grab my journal back. Now, the next part is really working out where you want all your different layers to go. So I've chosen the words to go there. I could then have the couple with the words behind, which means then I can create other layers with the other imagery. So the white allows your rice papers to stand out, gives it a little bit of vibrancy against the craft background. But you could still put it on the craft background, and it quick way of creating shadows and different depth. So I'm just going to layer some of these up, and I'm just working out roughly, you know, in my head where I'd like them all to be. Now, when I start sticking down, it could completely change altogether, but that's just giving me initial starting point. I can then look at other gaps that I've got and pull in some more of the rice paper, because obviously I have got other bits left, like that beautiful splat would work, that I could pull out and work with. I've got all the wording here that I could pull out some more of the different wording, and that would work. But I want to have one of these as a focal point on the page, but I'm not sure which one yet. I need to make the page up and see where it takes me from there. I hope I'm making sense. So we'll just get some of these stuck down. What I like to do is this is from an old card, you know, packing cello bag, but it could be any plastic packaging. But then I don't, it's just easier to clean up. I mean, rather than just bin it, I might as well use it first. And I'm using a Mod Podge matte, but you could use any gel medium, any raised paper glue, decoupage glue. There's lots of different mediums out there that work with rice papers, and it's one of those things, we all find ones that work for us, and we know their properties and how long it will take things to dry. Now I'm going to put some on the back of the rice paper, and then I'm going to put some on the page as well. I just want it to bond as much as possible. So we've got that there, and then, oh, sorry, I'm trying to talk to you and I put my paintbrush in my mouth, which doesn't really help, does it? So I'm just going to take that off. Let's move you. And I can put this back up on here. Layer it down. Now, another thing with rice paper, which is absolutely wonderful, it really doesn't matter if it crinkles, or because at the end of the day, that's just another layer. Now I'm going to put another layer of the Mod Podge, or like I said, anything that you want to use on top, just to seal it in place. It also means I can blend out the feather edges we got from pulling it out with the water brush as well. We've got that layer going there, and you can see now the contrast between where we painted this white and where this has gone onto the craft card. I've created light and dark very, very easily by just having that little pop of white. So let's do the couple next. So that's me, my first layer of rice papers. And I do want to keep a contrast between the brighter and the darker, but I will gradually build them up. And I'm thinking of actually using, originally I was thinking of the stones across there, but I quite like the patterns from these as well. So I think I'm going to pull out some of these designs and maybe some of this as well, and we can then see if I'm going to add it or not. So I've got myself a few extra rice paper layers, and I'm going to add a few of them to the art journal page we've started. So let's just bring that back in. So all I'm looking for is I just want to take away where I've got some of these paint layers, so it looks like it's all a background joining together. So I could put a piece across like that which joins two of them together. I could leave this separate and just have a little nod to that these two join together, and I think that's what I'm probably going to do in my head, is just do that. So right, I've let everything dry, and these were the rice paper that I stuck to the card, and all I've done is I've just trimmed them down. So they're the three from there. I've just grabbed a stencil, but I'll explain that in a minute. So these now have all dried, and as I was saying earlier on in the video, you can see where we've put the white paint down, how those colours pop, but where the rice paper is on top of the craft, it creates a shadow effect which looks really cool. And again, here with the figures, you've got her and her legs and body in the white looking bright, but then the back of him and the back of his legs and the back of the lamppost, where it's on the craft, has created that lovely shadow. Now, you know, sometimes I just leave pages like this because I think, you know, that's it, they don't need any more. And you know, if you feel the same, just walk away, leave it, come back another day. But I am going to build it up a little bit more. This is me stroking it. I am going to build it up a little bit more, and what I thought I wanted to do is I just want to add a little bit of stenciling, not much, just little bits here and there, so I can just tie the two sides in. I like them being separate, but I just want them to have a little bit more link here and there. I couldn't decide what to use, whether to go for a red. This is like a sparkle red. It's got a very soft sparkle to it. Or go for the white and keep the colours very similar. I'm going to start with the white first because I might add the red in around the edges. So I'm going to go and get my stencil brush and I'll be with you. So it's just, it'll be the tiniest little hints here and there that we have the words. So even though I'm putting white on top of like a white area, I'll still get a little bit of it showing through. I'm going to call it quits for the moment. I might come back and add just a touch more in places. I'm going to bring in a tiny little bit of red. I'm just bringing in some scrap paper. What I wanted to do next was add some of the cards that we've got there. So we've got one here, it says, kindness is like snow, it beautifies everything it covers. So it could go beautifully with the couple there, or it could stand out and be the sentiment there. I've got the balloons, which I could match up to match this page, but I will keep them, but now I'm thinking of something different for them. but I think I'm going to put this one here where it says kindness is like snow, it beautifies everything it covers. I don't want to put it this side. It just takes away from that beautiful image and how we've done the layers. But I think it's nice to have it here and split up this page. Equally, I could have cut out all of the different words and the butterflies and layered it up that way, which now I've thought about it, I might actually do that, but we'll see. I've also got the postcard as well, which can be added on. So now I've given myself a quandary. I actually think I'm going to go away and cut this up. So pause the video and I'm going to go off and do that. That's all those pieces now cut out, and I've kept the border pieces that were around the outside. I do want to throw them away because I think that we could probably add them in somewhere. So they're done, so I'm just going to put them up here somewhere just for now. Right, I want to do the postcard, and I do want to bring in the postcard, and I want to bring it down here near where the splats are, and I'm just toying with the idea of how much I want it to be. And I wouldn't normally, and I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. And I just want to bring it in a little bit there, like so. Now, because this has been stuck to card, I can treat this as I would a normal card embellishment and use an everyday glue, a strong everyday glue on the back of it. You can by all means use your Mod Podges or your gel mediums as well, but this is a heavy body glue that will work on top of everything. I just want to bring it, as I said, so I've got it's in near there, and I'm just lining it up with the edge of the page. Half of me doesn't know whether I should have edged that or not. Right, I can easily go back round it with a paintbrush or a pencil. I'm going to leave it like that for the moment. And then what I want to do is I do want to put the opposite half to tie the two in over here somewhere, and I can always add a little bit more. I'm just looking at the sentiments. You're the fire that keeps me warm in the coldest of winters. So that could stand out. So we could just bring it down a little here, which I'll do. And that ties on that side. It could be used. I would save it and use it in other projects as well. I don't want it to be too parallel. I want it to be slightly off center as well. And again, all I'm doing is just running my finger so I know where the edge is. Right, I've changed my mind all over again, and I took those strips away. Only because I couldn't place the words how I wanted to place the words. These are the two butterflies we had. Now, one thing I do want to do is just do up here, and I'm just going to get a yellow sparkle pen. Okay, and I'm gonna leave that like that. I am going to put a few white dots on. I was going to splat, but I think I'll do it with a pen. As you just saw, I did add some white paint splats to the background, and the main reason I did that was I felt I was being a little bit too uniform where I was putting the dots with the pen, and I wanted a little bit more of a random feel, as if, you know, it was snow falling down everywhere rather than just uniform dots everywhere. Now I'm going to call this finished. I don't think there's anything else I want to add to it at this moment in time. I may, as always with art journal pages for me, I may add in some extra journaling. I've got the sentiment here that I could outline a little bit more, but I am going to call this finished. Thank you ever so much for your time and company today. I hope that inspired you to dig out your rice papers and have a play with them in your art journals or in your card making. Until next time, take care.